Bonjour, my teacher for the Amber here, and welcome back to another book haul. Remember a few months ago when I did that very hairy book haul inspired by Harry Styles by the 19th? Well, I'm back to do another haul inspired by another one of my favorite albums. If you know anything about me, you know that I am Paramore trash. I have been since I was in high school. I love them so much. My last birthday, I flew all the way to Nashville to see their last show of the After Laughter era. After Laughter is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. That album, yeah, is a godsend. I listen to it every single day. I wish I was joking. So I decided this at the same time that I decided that I was going to do the Harry haul, because I was like, what other albums can I do this for? I'm going to try to do a After Laughter book haul, buying books based off of the songs from After Laughter by Paramore. Buy it on iTunes. So this part, if you didn't watch the last video, is the part where I go through the songs and tell you the criteria for the books that I'm looking for, and then I'll come back probably in like a few months when I've accumulated books and we'll go through it. So let's do this. I should have had my note pulled up. Please hold. Okay, so the first song is what I was just singing without even realizing. Hard times, gonna make you wonder why you even try. It's Hard Times. So for this song, I'm going with the line, hit me with lightning. Hit me with lightning. Maybe I'll come alive. And for this book, for Hit Me With Lightning, looking for a book where someone acquires powers, like a superpower of some sort, magical power, whatever. Next is my favorite song off the album, one of my favorite songs ever. It's going to get stuck in my head, I promise you. Rose Colored Boy. I want that tattooed on me, so next time you see me, might be a thing. For that, we're going with the line, hearts are breaking, wars are raging on, and I keep doing this. I did this all through the last video where I said we instead of I. I'm looking for a book that takes place during a war of some sort, where there's a war involved in it. Most likely I'm going to go with some sort of like historical World War II fiction. The next song on After Laughter is Told You So. I hate to say I told you so. So we're going with the bridge, which is like the best part of the whole song. Throw me into the fire, throw me and pour me out again. Throw me into the fire, throw me and pour me out again. So I'm going with a book that involves some sort of either fire reference in the title or something to do with fire in the book. I would love something either involving dragons or like a phoenix or something like that. So maybe someone has some sort of like fire powers. We'll see. The next song is Forgiveness, which I love that song so much. I'm going with my favorite line in the song. There's still a thread that runs from your body to mine. There's still a thread that runs from your body to mine. Next song is another boppity bop. It's Fake Happy. I bet everybody here is fake happy. So obviously I am going to find a mental health book or a book that has a storyline involving mental health, which should be easy. Next is my other favorite song on the whole album, Rose Colored Boy, and then this song, 26, which leaves me an emotional wreck every time I see it live. Obviously I'm going with the chorus. Hold on to hope. Hold on to hope if you've got it. Don't let it go for nobody. Hold on to hope if you've got it. The next song is Pool. I'm going with the theme, the chorus again. I'm underwater, no air in my lungs. So I'm looking for a book that takes place on or near the water, maybe involves mermaids, who knows. I love me a mermaid book. So for the next song, which is Grudges, for the theme I'm going with the line, it's hard to say it without singing it, so that's why I keep like pausing awkwardly. Time is a bastard, I won't break my neck to get around it, but aren't we so brave to give up a fight and let the years let the years go by without us. So I'm looking for a book about like either time travel or has some like weird concept of time. I like making my life difficult. Or if I can't find that, I'm going to go with the If You Want to Call Me Up or Come Over and Laugh Till We Cry, where I'll try to find a funny book. I don't really read a lot of books that make me laugh. I mean, they do, but there's like comedy aspect, humor in it, but like one that's like a ha ha ha. What? Okay. Anyway, the next song is Caught in the Middle. And I'm going to, going with the line, nostalgia's cool, but it won't help you now. So another one about time, but this one I'm looking for a book that takes place in another time period, specifically, hopefully, like the 60s or the 70s, or the 90s. So like between the 60s and the 90s. So 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. Okay, the next song on After Laughter is Idol Worship. I'm going with the chorus, hey baby I'm not, you're superhuman, slash, because they go together, it works together. The savior doesn't look a thing like me. So I'm looking for a book with an anti-hero or like anti-heroes plural. The next book, I already know what book I'm going to get for it, but I'm going to tell you what the song is anyway. It's No Friend. So I'm going to leave that there. And then the last song on After Laughter, the last song that I am looking for a book for is Tell Me How. I love that song so much. And I'm going with the line, I've got my own convictions and they're stronger than any addiction. So I'm going to look for a book involving addiction of some sort. So I'll see you probably in a couple months when I have collected said books. Okay, her gauges are huge. Sorry. Hello. Long time no see. It has been like 2.5 years since I filmed the opening clips of this video. Needless to say, it took a little, let me adjust this. No, let me unadjust that. It took a little longer to acquire the books that I needed to this time around, and then life got in the way. We're in the middle of a parallelogram right now, but we're here. I almost gave up doing this video so many times, but when you're watching this, it should be the 3-year anniversary of After Laughter. So now I'm finally presenting you with my After Laughter book haul. I don't know, I don't have anything to say for myself. Let's just get into it. I have a new camera. I have, you can't tell, but shorter hair now. Harry's still here. Maybe I should have put up a Paramore poster.
All I want is to wake up fine. You tell me I'm alright, that I ain't gonna die. All I want is a hole in the ground. Gonna make you run why you even try. Gonna take you down and that way you cry. Walking around, your glory cloud, hanging on my head, and then coming down. Where do I go? Get some sort of sign. Hit me with lightning, maybe I'll come alive.
Yes, first song off the album, still such an iconic bop. The start of what would be one of the best eras of my life. Hard Times. The anniversary of that song was a couple days ago actually. Whew, I'm winded. I forgot how much physical activity this entailed. For hard times, I have my notes because this was so long ago. I went with the lyric, you hit me with lightning, maybe I'll come alive. And for that, I was looking for a book where someone acquires some sort of power, whether it's like magical or whatever. And for this book, oh god, I have a story. I got The Tesla Legacy by K.K. Perez, also known as Christina Perez, who is the author of the Sweet Black Waves trilogy, which we all know is one of my favorite book series of all time. I have to finish the last book. Funny story behind this really quick. This is not the copy that I bought for this. I have a signed and personalized copy. While I was acquiring books for this haul, I got to meet Christina KK in New York before the world shut down, back when that was a thing. And I got to talk to her about her books and how much I love the Sweet Black Waves trilogy. And I picked up this book and promptly lost it. I swear if I didn't have like photo evidence that that event happened and that I met her, I would think that I made up the whole concept. My whole memory of me getting the book was made up because I have no idea where it is. That or the other two books I got that day. So I had to order a whole other copy of this book, which once I find my actual copy, I will be giving away. If you've been watching videos recently, you know I have a nice little pile of doubles that I've been accidentally collecting that I will be doing a big giveaway of soon. Anywho, The Tesla Legacy, if I recall correctly, the main character is like this totally normal girl, and then one day somehow she acquires this power involving electricity, which is kind of perfect. Hit me with lightning, maybe I'll come alive, which is why I really thought this was the perfect book. It says Lucy Phelps has a perfectly normal life, that is until a fateful encounter in the Tesla suite of the New Yorker Hotel. Until a fateful encounter in the Tesla suite of the New Yorker Hotel unlocks an ability to manipulate and control electricity. Now she is struggling to understand her new abilities and being thrust into a centuries-old battle between rival alchemical societies. One side seeks to help her, the other wants her dead. Both believe she is the next step in human evolution. Unfortunately, carriers of Lucy's genetic mutation, including Nikola Tesla, eventually lose their minds in their lives. So this is like a sci-fi, kind of out of my comfort zone, but I do love the author, her writing style, and I trust her, and I trust that this is going to be a very fun read. Also, being that I've been collecting these books to do this haul, I haven't, for majority of the books, I haven't allowed myself to read any of them, so this is now another weight off my shoulder. I can read the books in this haul. Bless the Lord. I said okay.
Be like you. I wish you were all rose colored too. My rose colored boy.
I said. Next up is my favorite song off of After Laughter, one of my favorite songs of all time. Rose Colored Boy. Whew, Jesus. At some point in the near future, I do plan to get a low-key no pressure tattoo for Rose Colored Boy. I was a train? I went with the lyrics, hearts are breaking, wars are raging on. Looking for a book involving, obviously, war, the results and aftermath of that. So, for that I have two books. I think they're quite popular. I know the first one is quite popular. I have Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, and also Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hess. I know Ruta Sepetys is a very, very popular author. I believe I also owned Salt to the Sea, but I can't remember. Both of these are World War II historical fictions. Between Shades of Grey follows our main character. It says, a gripping novel of survival and hope in the darkest of places. She is stripped from her home in Lithuania and basically forced, I believe, as a refugee to Siberia. Separated from her father, Lena secretly passes along clues in the form of drawings, hoping they will reach his prison camp. But will her letters or her courage be enough to reunite her family? Will they be enough to keep her alive? And this one, Girl in the Blue Coat, this one takes place in Amsterdam. Like I said, during World War II, our main character, I think, works the black market and makes deliveries, I believe. And I think she is asked for help by one of her clients or something like that. She is tasked with finding this, I believe she's a little Jewish girl. A Jewish teenager Mrs. Jansen had been hiding, who has vanished without a trace from a secret room. So basically she has to find this girl in the blue coat before the Nazis do. And from what I've heard of this book, everyone who's read it seems to love it. I feel like I'm getting back to my roots. I mentioned before there was a time where a majority of the books I read were World War II historical fiction. I have another one of her books I got after I got this book for the haul. They Went Left, which came out recently in 2020, and I'm excited to read both of these books. I will keep you posted now that I'm free to do so.
I know you like. Pull me into the fire, pull me in, pull me out again. Pull me into the fire, pull me in, pull me out again. Pull me into the fire, pull me in, pull me out again. Pull me into the fire, pull me in, pull me out. Pull me into the fire, pull me in, pull me out again.
Next up we have Told You So, and for that we went obviously with the bridge of the song. Throw me into the fire, throw me, then pull me out again. For this song I went with Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows. And I believe this is a book about a girl who has dragon powers or something. There's a dragon involved. Very Khaleesi of her. Before, Mira Minkoba is the hope bringer. Since the day she was born, she's been told she's special, important, perfect. She's known across the Fallen Isles not just for her beauty, but for the peace treaty named after her. An agreement that unites the 7 islands against their enemies on the mainland. But Mira never felt perfect. She counts compulsively, she struggles with crippling anxiety, and she's far too interested in dragons for a girl of her station. I didn't know this dealt with mental illness. Interesting. After. Then Mira discovers an explosive secret that challenges everything she and the treaty stand for. Betrayed by the very people she has spent her life serving, Mira is sentenced to the pit, the deadliest prison in the Fallen Isles. There, a cruel guard would do anything to discover the secret she'd died to protect. No longer beholden to those who betrayed her, Mira must learn to survive on her own and unearth scorching truths about the Fallen Isles and herself before her very world collapses. Jody Meadows' new Fallen Isles trilogy blazes with endangered magic, smoldering romance, and one girl's inner fire. Throw me into the fire, am I right? I love this cover also.
You want forgiveness, but I just can't do it. There's still a thread that runs from your body to mine, and you can't break what you don't see, an invisible light. If I follow it down, will we just be alright? But it could take me all your life to learn to love. How I thought I could love someone, I haven't even begun. If it's all to us, we might as well give up to you. You want forgiveness, I can barely hang on to myself. I can't give you that. I can't give you that.
I love that song so much. So Forgiveness is such a good song. Oh my god. This one's kind of a cheat a little bit. A little bit. So for when I decided I want to do this video, I knew I wanted to choose a book based on the line, "There's still a thread that runs from your body to mine. You can't break what you don't see." That whole lyric, that whole verse is so beautiful. Oh my god. Okay. And when I was going through books, I realized I'd already read the perfect book to match the lyric and the theme of the song. And for that, it's Blood Witch by Susan Dennard, which is the third, well technically it's the fourth book in the Witchland series. The next book is coming out in 2 months and I'm so excited. So I can't really go into many things about this book in particular because it's spoiling it, but in this world there are many different types of witches and witchery, and particularly in this book, there is a thickening plot around Isolde and her thread magic and her ability to see the connections between people based on like their threads, and there's a whole thing with the heart thread, and I love this series so much. And obviously, just going on what I said, you're not like, you might not understand the correlation off the bat, but there's no other book that I could have chosen for that lyric, honestly, especially going into Witch Shadow, which is Isolde's book, and I know we're going to get more of that, the threads and the witchery and the connections, and her strengthening connections with different characters. And read this series, thank me later.
I love making you believe what you get is what you see, but I'm so fake happy, I feel so fake happy. I bet everybody here is just as insincere. We're all so fake happy, I know, fake happy. So I've been doing a good job of making them think I'm quite alright, but I hope I don't blink. It's easy when I'm stomping on the beat, but no one sees me when I walk back underneath. Hey, if I smile through my teeth, bet you believe me. If I smile through my teeth, you think I believe me? Oh please, don't ask me how I feel, don't make me pretend. Oh no, oh what's the use? Oh please, I bet everybody here is fake. If I go out tonight, just some my fears, you think I'm alright with these mascara tears? I'm gonna draw my lipstick whiter than my mouth, and with the lights on, you'll never see me frown.
That's too real. Oh, I didn't even show you the song. I didn't even show you the book. Hold on.
I bet you believe me. That's why I think I believe me. Oh please, don't ask me how I feel, don't make me pretend. Oh no, oh what's the use? Oh please, I bet everybody here is fake happy too.
Got too into the song for a second. Forgot I was supposed to be showing off books. Fake happy. That song's too real. For that song, I wanted to find a book that talked about mental health, mental illness. And for this book, we went with Darius the Great Is Not Okay, which the title alone just feels perfect for this song. I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this book. I think the sequel recently came out, by Adib Karam. This follows Darius, who is half Persian, and I believe this story follows when he and his family go back to Iran for, I think, the summer or something. Darius is clinically depressed, and he's struggling with this, especially in this new environment. He already doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere at home, and then he meets the next door neighbor boy, and they strike up a friendship. And yeah, this story, like I said, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and I've been so desperate to get to it, and now I feel like I can finally read this book. And I know it's gonna make me feel all the feels, and I can't wait for that.
Really know I would get someone down. Everything was fine until you came around. I've been chasing after dreams in the clouds. After all, wasn't I the one who said to keep your feet on the ground? Man, you really brought me back down. Hold on to hope if you got it. Don't let it go for nobody. They say that dreaming is free. I wouldn't care what it costs me.
Next song on After Laughter is 26. This song makes me cry every single time, especially live. I don't want to talk about it. Funny story. So this is a two-part funny story. The first part is I had a book chosen for this song. I wanted to choose a book that reflected the underlying message, you know, the hold on to hope if you got it, don't let it go for nobody. I wanted to find a book that has a very like hopeful underlying message to it. Initially, I was going to choose The Tattooist of Auschwitz, but I don't know, I heard some things from people regarding like from the Auschwitz Museum. I follow their account. They just talking about like inaccuracies and like, you know, harmful things that are in that book. So I chose not to go with that story. I instead chose a book that I thought I had pulled out when I got all the books out to finally do this haul, but it's somewhere over there. I didn't pull it out, and when I set up today I did not feel like digging around to do it. I'm on a very tight schedule. So that book that I actually eventually went with is another one that I've read and thought that it felt appropriate, and it's The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ankrum. I read that early last year and it left me feeling really emotional. It's a very bittersweet story. It follows Ryan, who has always loved space and always dreamt of going to space and traveling in space. She meets Alexandra, whose mother is a part of this one-way space mission to the edge of space, and every night she goes up onto a roof to try to communicate with her via radio signals. Long story short, there's an accident involving both girls, and Ryan then has to assist Alex in this mission, and they become closer. And like I said, as the story goes further, it gets more and more like bittersweet, and by towards the end I just started crying and didn't stop crying until I closed the book. While, like I said, it's bittersweet and it was very emotional, it still left you with this feeling of hope and hopefulness, and I just love the book. I love Kay Ankrum, I love Kayla. I need to read The Wicker King. She also has a new Dark Peter Pan retelling coming out soon this year that I'm so antsy to get my hands on.
Wasn't deep enough. I dove in again 'cause I'm not in to give up. Couldn't have the same rush, really love is touch. But I'm used to something new, so it breaks my heart like you. When you get sneak, go get sweet, and see what happens next. For a moment, I forget, I have to deny it. If I doubt you, we can come through. Happy second chance, happy ending. This time we don't leave you sinking. Breaking lungs, eyes on road. Don't give it up.
So the next song is Pool, and for that I went with obviously the chorus. I'm underwater, no air in my lungs. I feel like there's no air in my lungs right now. Ooh. And just the whole concept of being in water, submerged in water. And for that book, for that song, for that song, I went once again. I was really stuck with the I'm underwater, so I'm like, mermaids. So for this one I went with Sea Witch by Sarah Henning, and I believe this is a villain origin story, an Ursula origin story type situation, because everyone knows what happens in the end: a mermaid, a prince, a true love's kiss. But before that young siren's tale, there were 3 friends. One feared, one royal, and one already dead. Ever since her best friend Anna drowned, Evie has been an outcast in her small fishing town, hiding her talents, mourning her loss, drowning in her guilt. Then a girl with an uncanny resemblance to Anna appears offshore, and though the girl denies it, Evie is convinced that her best friend actually survived, that her own magic wasn't so powerless after all. And as the 2 girls catch the eyes and hearts of 2 charming princes, Evie believes that she might finally have a chance at her own happily ever after. But magic isn't kind, and her new friend has secrets of her own. She can't stay in Hemstad on her own on 2 legs unless Evie finds a way to help her. Now Evie will do anything to save her friend's humanity along with her prince's heart, harnessing the power of her magic, her ocean, and her love until she discovers, too late, the truth of her bargain. The rise of Hans Christian Andersen's iconic villainess in a heart-wrenching story of friendship, betrayal, and a girl pushed beyond her limits to become a monster. Everything about this is all the way in my alley. We have a retelling of sorts. We have a villain origin story. We have mermaids and sirens and a love triangle. It sounds like I absolutely. Okay, so next up is Grudges. After that we went with the lyric, time is a bastard, I won't break my neck to, what is the rest of this lyric? Time is a bastard, I won't break my neck to get around it. But aren't we so brave to give up the fight and let the years go by without us? So for that one I wanted something involving time travel or some like weird twist or usage of time. So I have 2 books for this one. The first is Stolen Time by Danielle Rollins, and also Everless by Sarah Holland. I'm just gonna read with what both plots say. I thought I also got Fury Born, but I did not. So this book takes place in two separate two, I think, parallel timelines. I'm not sure. Seattle, 1913. Dorothy is trapped, forced to wed a wealthy man so she and her mother can live comfortably for the rest of their days. She'll do anything to escape, including sneaking away from her wedding and bolting to the woods to disappear. New Seattle, 2077. Ash is on a mission. Rescue the professor, his mentor who figured out the secret to time travel, so together they can put things right in their devastated city. But endless jumps through time have left Ash plagued by pre-memories of what's to come, a violent death and his heart torn apart. When Dorothy collides with Ash, she sees it as her chance to start fresh. She'll stow away in his plane and begin a new life wherever they land. Then she wakes up in a future that's been ripped apart by earthquakes and floods, where vicious gangs rule the submerged city streets, and a small group of intrepid travelers from across time are fighting against the odds to return things to normal. What Dorothy doesn't know is that she could hold the key to unraveling the past, but her arrival may spell Ash's ultimate destruction. So this one, like I said, deals with two characters from two different times in history, and there's actual time travel involved in this one. Fantastic. Then we have Everless. I believe in this one, time is used as currency almost, am I right? In the kingdom of Simpera, time is money, extracted from the blood, traded in coins, and taxed to the hilt. Wealthy aristocrats like the Gerling family live for centuries while the commoners struggle to survive. Jules Ember loathes the Gerlings. She and her father were servants at Everless, the Gerlings' palatial estate, until a fateful accident drove them away. But now, desperate to earn time, Jules returns to Everless amid preparations for the wedding of the youngest Gerling lord to the queen's daughter. Jules soon discovers that Everless holds more temptations and danger than she thought possible. Stories from her childhood begin to take on new significance, dragging her into a past she hardly recognizes and revealing a tangle of violent secrets that could change her future and the future of time itself forever. So I thought the concept of time being used as currency and money and like an exchange of goods was kind of like really interesting, and I look forward to seeing how this story plays out.
I can't think it's getting old, it only makes me want to die. I can't think of who I was, cause it just makes me want to cry. Cry, 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 can't look back, can't get too far ahead. I got the point, I got the message. I'm just a little bit caught in the middle, trying to keep going, but it's not that simple. Think I'm a little bit caught in the middle, gotta keep going, I'm caught in the middle. Yeah, I'm caught in the middle. I was trading life away, all the while just going blind. Can't see the forest for the trees, behind the lens in my own eyes. It's all just cool, but it won't help me now. It seems good if you don't wear it out. I'm just a little bit caught in the middle, trying to keep going, but it's not that simple.
So for Caught in the Middle, I went with the lyric, nostalgia's cool, but it can't help you now. Dream is good if you don't wear it out. For that, I was looking for a book that took place in a different time period. One of these books is another one that I've already read. If I recall correctly, I chose this kind of like later on and felt that it was perfect. And it's Let Me Hear a Rhyme by Tiffany D. Jackson, who is one of my favorite authors. We know this, auto-buy author. This book follows three kids in the late 90s in Brooklyn. It's 1998. Shortly after Notorious B.I.G. was murdered. This follows Quadir, Jarrell, and Jasmine after Jasmine's older brother was also just murdered. And the story follows them after they find a box of his music. He was an aspiring rapper trying to follow in Biggie's footsteps, and they decide that they are going to make him the star that he deserved to be. And this follows them basically creating this identity, this musician who is already dead, and trying to get him signed and popular before anyone finds out that he's murdered, while also trying to figure out the truth behind his death. And this is actually, oh, I said death a lot, murder a lot. This is such a contrast to Tiffany's usual works. It's so much more lighthearted, and I know I'm not from Brooklyn. A lot of my family is, so like I've spent a lot of time in Brooklyn, especially actually during this time period. So a lot of it felt really familiar to me, and I just loved it so much. And then we go a little further back in time. If I could turn back time. And I found one of BookTube's faves. I didn't find it, I just finally had an excuse to buy it. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, author of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is one I still want to read. This book generally has like very mixed reviews. Either you love it or hate it, but this follows, I believe, it's told almost like documentary style, if that makes sense. Journey of Daisy Jones and the Six, which is this like Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac situation type band, fictitious band. It follows like that journey, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Everyone knows Daisy Jones and the Six. The band's album Aurora came to define the rock and roll era of the late 70s, very much like Rumors. That's what my brain always goes to. An entire generation of girls wanted to grow up to be Daisy, but no one knows the reason behind the group's split on the night of their final concert at Chicago Stadium on July 12th, 1979 until now. Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars, and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's the rock and roll she loves most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed, and she is the kind of heatless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Also getting noticed is the Six, a band led by the brooding Billy Dunn. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camilla finds out she's pregnant, and with the pressure of impending fatherhood and fame, Billy goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes that the key to supercharged success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of legend. The making of that legend is chronicled in this riveting and unforgettable novel, written as an oral history of one of the biggest bands of the 70s. So this one takes place in the 70s, like I said, and I am excited to finally read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. She has been hyped to high heaven all over the bookternet, and I'm just ready to see what the hype, if the hype is real. I think, does she have another book coming out soon? I'm not sure, but I'll keep you updated.
We need to keep it secret. I know that you're a freak, so let all the talk escape you, but we can let the light illuminate these open spaces. Just let me let you down.
Okay, for Idol Worship, I got a little carried away and I got 3 books. For this song, we went with the lyric, the first lyric of the chorus, "Hey baby, I'm not your superhuman. And if that's what you want, I hate to let you down." And I really wanted to find a book, or books, that kind of starred anti-heroes, basically. And I guess maybe not necessarily villains, but, you know, morally gray characters that maybe sometimes do villainous things. And like I said, I got 3 books for this one. First and foremost, I have Renegades by Marissa Meyer. She's also the author of the Lunar Chronicles. I believe this is a sci-fi. Once again, stepping a little bit out of my wheelhouse. But a lot of people like these books, at least the first one. It says secret identities, extraordinary powers. She wants vengeance, he wants justice. The Renegades are a syndicate of prodigies, humans with extraordinary abilities who emerged from the ruins of a crumbled society and established peace and order where chaos reigned. As champions of justice, they remain a symbol of hope and courage to everyone except the villains they once overthrew. Nova has a reason to hate the Renegades, and she is on a mission for vengeance. As she gets closer to her target, she meets Adrian, a renegade boy who believes in justice and in Nova. But Nova's allegiance is to a villain who has the power to end them both. So it looks like our girl Nova has some villainous qualities, some anti-hero qualities, and good for her, you know? Next, we have actually another villainess origin story. and it's Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. And this one, I believe, is an evil queen villain origin story, like the evil queen from Snow White. We know since the start of Once Upon a Time and me becoming Once Upon a Time fan doesn't seem like the appropriate word. I have so much love for the evil queen, and that's all you really need to tell me to sell me on this book. So this okay, from what I've gathered, the main character of the story, the stars say she's destined to be empress if she only embraces the darkness within her. I believe she grew up as 18-year-old Zifeng is beautiful. The stars say she is destined for greatness, that she is meant to be empress of Fenglu, but only if she embraces the darkness within her. Growing up as a peasant in a forgotten village on the edge of the map, Zifeng longs to fulfill the destiny promised to her by her cruel aunt, the witch Guma, who has read the cards and seen glimmers of Zifeng's majestic, I can read, future, but is the price of the throne too high, because in order to achieve greatness, she must spurn the young man who loves her and exploit the callous magic that runs through her veins. Sorcery fueled by eating the hearts of the recently killed. Good for her. For the god who has sent her on this journey will not be satisfied until his power is absolute. Set in an East Asian inspired fantasy world filled with both breathtaking pain and beauty, Julie C. Dow's reimagining of the evil queen legend from Snow White possesses all the hallmarks of masterful fantasy. Dazzling magic, heartbreaking romance, and a world that hangs in the balance. Fans of The Wrath and the Dawn, which we know I am, Stealing Dawn, and Red Queen will devour this stunning debut. And then, last but not least for this song, we have another book Turnette fave, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now, a couple things. When I bought this book, I had not read the Grisha trilogy yet. This month finished. I read Ruin and Rising earlier this month in April, and today actually the show dropped on Netflix, so I plan to watch that today. Yeah, when I bought this book, I didn't really know anything about the world. My plan was always to read the Grisha books first before I went into this duology, because I wanted to understand the world, and I am kind of really glad that I did that. All I know really about Six of Crows is that it follows this like motley crew of criminals, basically. You know, Kaz and co. Everyone seems to absolutely adore. I have somehow gotten this copy with black sprayed edges, which I love. 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. I feel like I don't need to go into too many details. Most people have either already read the books or have an idea of what the books are about. So finally, actually, and it's such good timing that I'm finally filming this video now when I've finished the Grisha books and I can move on in this world. So this is another one that I knew what I wanted to get when I went through the list of songs and wrote down the criteria. For No Friend, that song felt to me, especially going off of the last song and like the last few songs, like I'm out of breath. Hey baby, I'm not your superhuman, I'm not your hero. And then like particularly the line, in this song, I'm no savior of yours, you're no friend of mine. I really only thought of Katniss. By the time we got like halfway through Mockingjay. So I decided that I was going to get another random edition of Mockingjay that I didn't have. I decided that it would be fun to get an edition in a different language. So adding to my never-ending collection of the Hunger Games books, I have Sin Sajo, which is the Spanish edition of Mockingjay. I went through different options. I was going to get the French version, I was going to get the Italian version, but at the end of the day, this is the main one that I could find that I really liked the cover of. And eventually I'm gonna have to go back and get the rest of the trilogy. I got this from Book Depository in Spanish. I don't have to say what Mockingjay with Hunger Games is about. But like I said, the lyric, "I'm no savior of yours, you're no friend of mine," really felt like Katniss when she was really getting tired and like realized she was being used by essentially both sides of this war, and that she really couldn't, there were only a handful of people she could trust in 13 and amongst the rebels. So here we go.
I can't call you a stranger, but I can't call you. Do you think that I raised you? You may hate me, but I can't hate you. I won't replace you. Tell me how I feel about you now. Tell me how I feel about you now. Oh, let me know. To reciprocate or let go. Getting sick of your beginnings. I'm always coming to your defenses. It's good to get it off my chest. I guess I can't believe I haven't yet. You know I got my own convictions, and they're stronger than any addiction. No one's winning. Tell me how I feel about you now.
Last but not least, the last song on After Laughter is Tell Me How. I had the privilege and honor of seeing it played for the very first time in Nashville at the Art and Friends show, and I cried. There's video footage of me crying. No, I'm not going to show it to you. For this song, I went with the lyric. Obviously, I've got my own convictions and they're stronger than any addiction. And I went looking for a book that covered the topic of addiction. And I found Heroine by Mindy McGinnis, which I believe is a YA actually. And this follows the main character after she ends up in a car accident and ends up, I think, addicted to pain medication, opioids. 3 screws in her hip, 2 months until spring training, one answer to all her problems. Mickey Catalan's life has been littered with struggles, from the scars that tell of past injuries to her parents' divorce to the daily complexity of finding the right words to fit in socially. Mickey is no stranger to pain, emotional or physical. When a car crash sidelines her months before softball season, Mickey has to find a way to hold onto her spot as the catcher for a team expected to make a historic tournament run. Behind the plate is the only place she's ever felt comfortable, and the painkiller she's been prescribed can help her get back there. The pills do more than take away pain, they make her feel good. With a new circle of friends, fellow injured athletes, others with just time to kill, Mickey finds a peaceful acceptance in people with whom words come easily, even if it's just the pills loosening her tongue. But as the pressure to be Mickey Catalan heightens, her need increases and it becomes less about pain and more about want, something that could send her spiraling out of control. Edgar Award-winning author Mindy McGinnis lays bare an honest exploration of the opioid crisis through the eyes of one girl, a visceral and necessary story about addiction, family, friendship, and hope. Also, hold on to hope if you've got it. So this is probably going to be a really, really heavy read, but I'm really interested to see her take on this topic. And once again, I've said this several times, I will keep you updated. Are you leaving? Leave. Get out.
Yeah, right. I'll see you soon.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I love you too. Tell me how to feel about you now.
Tell me how to feel about you now.
Oh. She's just not gonna let me finish this video. She's just not gonna let me in this video. So those are all of the books that I bought inspired by my favorite album, one of my favorite albums of all time, After Laughter by Paramore. It's been almost 3 years since this album came out and I still listen to it almost every day. This album, not to sound cheesy, but this album kind of like changed my life, changed the game. Therapy is expensive. After Laughter on Spotify is free. I'm just saying, if you come in this apartment one more time, Father God, in the name of Jesus, I would personally like to thank Taylor York for keeping this band together, for essentially making this album possible. I don't know if I'm going to continue this series. I kind of want to shift it into, I have an idea of a different, I guess, structure. So that will probably come eventually. I don't want to say soon because I said soon and then we didn't get this until 3 years later. But I love Paramore with my whole heart and soul. I love After Laughter with my whole heart and soul. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up. just because I finally finished it. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down below so you can follow me, and I'll follow you back, and I'll see you very soon. Comment below and let me know what your favorite Paramore album and or song of all time is and why it's Rose Colored Boy. Bye.
You want forgiveness. When you say it's so late. Tell me how to feel about you now.